Hello, welcome back to Seagull. This is Michael, and today we have finished leg one of the trip. We're with everyone here, and we want to quickly talk you through our experiences and the stuff we learned. I think the first thing to be said is we're actually in Arklow, and I'll let him explain exactly why as the skipper in a few minutes. But it was an interesting day for all of us for various reasons. I think I'll start with you explaining why we're in Arklow instead of Kilmore-Quay, and then we'll move forward from there.
Sure. Thanks, Michael. I was making certain ideas around, in terms of crew, how experienced we are, and the original idea to go to Kilmore-Quay and start at 1 o'clock in the morning was quite ambitious to do night watch where I'd have to be fully awake or hand that to somebody else, like Liam, without sort of having gone through a bit of team building with us during the daytime.
Yeah.
So then I thought, what could we do within a day in the same direction where we could do that team building, and Arklow seems sort of the most reasonable. So chunk it into smaller pieces, have daylight and as you know, we had a few things where we had to build a team, but I'll let that come later.
Exactly. I mean, it was 7 out of 17 hours, right, today. So it was still a good chunk. I think we had a lot of fun. So we ended up getting up fairly early. Somebody's alarms wouldn't turn off, so we just had to get up at a certain point. And we left at 8:32, right? From Dunleary Harbour.
Well, you should check with him.
Yeah, he's the navigator. So when did we leave, Matteo?
8:32.
How strong was the wind?
It was easterly forward.
Okay, very good, very good. And it started off pretty well, right? Like the first little bit, then we realized it was a bit choppier than expected. We went through, what is it? Docky Sound, and that's I think when some of us get a little seasick. That's when the troubles started a little bit. I don't know exactly what happened actually. I don't know what happened with you. What happened with you?
We were tacking,
Yeah.
and I think we were just pulling the sheets, and he put me on the helm,
Mhm.
and when I stood up, my mouth filled with vomit,
No.
and I had to puke out of the boat, and then I walked to the tiller, and I vomited again,
No.
and then for the next 30 seconds I was just vomiting out of there while
Uh,
holding us, trying to keep us straight.
That explains why we were going all over the place.
Well, I think I kept it pretty well. But then I just,
This was before Docky Sound.
this was after Docky,
Oh,
just as
after
we
Docky
left,
Sound.
just as we left.
Okay. Yeah, just for those who don't know, Docky Sound is like a little channel, so a lot of water rushes through all at once, so it creates a good bit of waves.
Yeah, and the reason the water's choppy is because it's going between the islands and it's pushing.
It's meeting.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I think for myself, I'll quickly go over it as well. I was not feeling the best. I lied down here on top, and then we decided to, and I was getting better and better and better, and we decided to have a little break in Wicklow, and then I had to work, and then it went downhill from there. But other than that, I think the wind itself was good.
I think, for example, I was sick the first 2 hours.
Yeah.
I was, a lot going on in my life for the first 2 hours. Then it was a lot easier. I found that if I stayed too long inside,
Yeah.
I would get sick.
What happened?
Just sick. So yeah.
So I think for the three of us, the biggest learning experience is around sickness. As much as there's all the technical stuff, being able to be sharp is important at the end of the day, right?
Yeah. But I'd say, like, after we got past Wicklow Head,
Yeah.
I was listening to music, I was singing.
Yeah.
So
It was a vibe. There was loads of sun.
yeah, it was just great. So I think after a while
The
you
weather
get
definitely got better.
the weather got better, but also you get used to the.
He was way too warm. He decided to take half his clothes off at one time. How warm he was.
It's a beautiful Irish day. That's all I'll say.
Very good. Do you have anything you want to add?
Well, we also made another stop. We actually stopped in to see Monica and Aaron, my wife and your brother. in Wicklow. It was actually quite choppy coming in there. We were at the top of well, yeah, it was a falling tide, so we tied onto a very steep wall with ropes that we were slowly going to go down and make it a bit difficult, but we wanted to go in and say hello. But so it was a quite exciting, because that's where we normally are,
Yeah.
to visit it by boat, you know.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah, it
really
was.
interesting dock as well. So it's a wall, so you have to kind of climb it up.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have to attach to a ladder basically.
Almost like a pirate.
Like a pirate.
Uh,
Well, because the
we
tide
didn't
was
even
quite
have
low at
permission
first.
to do it.
What?
We didn't even have to.
Yeah, well, we asked for permission, and nobody was answering multiple times. So
So we just stayed for 10 minutes and then left.
yeah. Don't tell anyone. This is not public information at
For
all.
legal reasons, we may or may not have been. in
Exactly.
Wicklow Harbour.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But then we had a beautiful, what's called a beam reach. We had the wind to our back after Wicklow, and it was just as good as being on the Caribbean. And we were going, the music was on, the sun was shining. I started taking off coats and all the outer layers.
Started eating a bit of food.
Yeah, I was eating. Mateo made me sandwiches, and it was great.
Very
It was
good.
all smooth sailing
Very
until
good.
Until.
I was put at the helm and did a great job. He goes, I need to go to the toilet for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
He's like, you take care of the boat. And I did.
No, he said,
However, he left it
Will-
in such a precarious way.
Yeah.
When he came back, there was a lot of.
Blame him.
no, he
obviously.
asked, he went to the toilet for 2 minutes, and when he went, he said, are you okay with the boat for 2 minutes while I go and do a pee? And then he came back up, and then he just shouted, "Da!" because the head sailor just wrapped itself around, and we spent 30 minutes circling trying to
I
get
think
it
we
back.
had to keep the head sail a bit tighter. It's a bit loose.
Yeah.
If I was the skipper, that's the instructions I would have given. But obviously, I wasn't the skipper. I was just.
Well, just to maybe give you a bit of information, we were goose winging, and goose winging is when you have the main out to one side and the head sail out to another side. But because we had everything at our quarter, we were fine and it was going along lovely. But you can get twists, and sometimes the gusts of wind can come from the other side, and that's what happened. And it took the jib or the head sail and wrapped it around the furler.
Yeah. So I'm on Strava and you're on Strava and everything. So if you look at the map, there's one point near Arklow where it's just us going around in circles for like 20
Trying to
minutes.
unravel
half an
the
hour.
head sail.
Yeah, exactly. I think that was one of the more entertaining parts. Also, I think you got thrown by the beam at one point as well, from my understanding.
Yeah.
I
got
was
hit
sick
by
for a
the-
lot of this, so I was downstairs. I'm not going to pretend otherwise.
Yeah, no, I basically carried the boat home. But the rope hit me in the head once.
Yeah. Because I just heard a big bang.
Yeah.
But I'm still good. I've been hit in the head many times, but I'm still here.
Well, I thought the funniest one was as we were coming into Arklow, there was a very specific route to follow in, and Liam was navigating. We were following this route in. We're all ready to get off. Mateo was up the front on the bow. Michael was on the stern,
Yeah.
ready, and they jumped off. It was actually fine. They were there fast. We had the boat. We knew what to do.
Made it look easy.
But
Yeah, professionals.
Mateo had suffered in a way that we weren't ready for. Mateo, what happened to you?
Well, I was barefoot, so. And the pontoon was metal, like metal edges.
Yeah.
I don't know why they would do that. But
I
let's
don't know
just
if
say-
they're considering people jumping off their boats barefoot, I'll be honest with you.
I don't think it's a normal thing to do. Maybe if you're in the Caribbean or something. I don't know.
I'll add this.
We're not, yeah, it's not exactly.
So suggestion
warm
is
here.
when you're coming into a new pontoon, wear a pair of shoes.
Now we're in Arklow. So I think I don't want to go on too long, but I'd like to ask everyone if they can tell me one thing they learned today in regards to sailing or anything around it. If you want to start. Sorry?
I feel like I learned 60 things.
Fair enough. Well, pick one or two that you want to tell us about.
What do you think? I'll probably just make food outside. Like, don't spend your time in there, because else
Fair.
you'll get seasick.
Fair enough. That's a pretty valuable skill.
Like, if you're seasick, you can't sail. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to you last because you're the experienced.
I don't know. I feel like I've done most of the things that you did today. I don't think I learned anything in particular, but every time you do a different journey, it's always different.
Mm.
So you might not learn something, but
Well, you learned how to unravel a
Yeah,
head
you
sail,
learned-
right?
yeah.
In the middle of the sea with the wind.
but I think you always
What was the solution?
you always
by the
have
way?
you don't learn things, but you always remember things that you should keep in mind.
Gotcha. So it's you.
You
Yeah.
active.
I'll go myself quickly, and then I'll ask you because as the skipper, I don't know, maybe you have something to say about all of us as well. One is around food. I've been told don't eat beforehand, and today I understood why. And and
The fish are happy if you eat before.
yeah, the fish are delighted. But then actually, in my case, a little bit of food is actually useful because if you do need to relieve yourself, I think everyone understands what I'm talking about. Then there's something to let go because after I'd emptied, my stomach just hurt for the rest of the time. Yeah, because I spent a lot of my time just not feeling well. Two, don't work down there. Probably next time I should try work up here. Around sailing, honestly, there's so many terms that I honestly wouldn't even know where to start. But I think the first thing is being able to live and how great and how many calories you burn, honestly. Because I have my watch on and I burnt a huge amount of calories, even though all I thought I was doing was lying down for half of it. So yeah, that was very interesting. How about you?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of aspects I'd kind of want to refer to. I'll talk about the easy one first. It was the sailboat. So it was worth that we replaced the sail, and luckily we had 3 extra sails, but I'd never done that before. So everywhere you go there's a fantastic sailing community. Asked the guys on the next boat, and the son of the guy who was there came over and said, yeah, let me help, and he actually just helped us replace our head sail, and I learned how to do it with you guys as well. So that was really good. As a skipper, it was also interesting for me. I made certain assumptions, and I'm glad we took the Arklow trip rather than the Kilmore Quay around watches and everything, because obviously the 3 of you were out for the count for a certain period of time, so I thought
true.
I'm glad I didn't do this at night. You know,
You wouldn't have to see the debauchery.
and then the funny one is, you know, I'll never go to the toilet when Matteo's at the helm again. No. But you know,
Probably not.
I think for me then I would put like preventers in place if someone else is on the wheel, etc.
So
To
even more
minimise-
security.
Well, when you have a sail out, you can put a preventer that stops it coming back, or even you can put a pole out with the head sail. I kind of got comfortable that I was doing it and you guys were doing it while I was there, and then didn't think, okay, well, if I go away, really I should have a pole out or I should have a preventer out. So you can never be too safe, and you know that in a way I see I could have done that better.
That's fair.
But it was good.
It's
It
your
was good
first
to see.
time skippering some longer trips, right?
Exactly. And I
So-
think for all of you, it's actually your longest trip yet, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, definitely for me.
This one,
Yeah.
the one we just did.
Oh no, not maybe you. Maybe. Yeah. You went to the Isle of Man, so
Yeah.
He's the experienced professional here.
competent
They-
crew
they,
now.
They have to listen to me.
Yeah. He likes to just sit there and order us around. I'm not happy about it.
But it was good. Very good, Mike.
I'm glad to hear. Well, unless anyone has anything else to say, I think we're gonna leave it at that, and we'll see you tomorrow, hopefully, depending on how the weather goes, for the next leg of our journey.